When you want to remember something today, you probably type a quick text message or jot it down in a paper notebook. But how do we know what happened thousands of years ago, long before smartphones and modern notebooks were around? To find out, we look for the specific records left behind by the people who lived here first. We use their preserved writings to see how they lived, what they believed, and how they built their world. Right away, we run into a challenge. Thousands of years ago, paper had not been invented yet. People had to look around their environment and use the natural resources they could find. This photograph shows us exactly what they found. These are long, thin palm leaves, and resting on top is a sharp writing tool. People use tools exactly like this one to carefully scratch letters directly into leaves and the bark of trees. For records they wanted to keep for a very long time, they used tougher materials. In this image, you can see dense text carved straight into thick, weathered copper plates. They also chiseled their words into large stone slabs. Historians group all these records, whether on leaves, copper, or stone, under one label: literary sources. These are the written memories that allow us to read the history of the people who lived before us. Let's imagine walking into an ancient library to see what these records tell us. The very first section we find is filled with religious writings. These books were created to teach people about their faith, but they also included lessons on how to behave and treat others in everyday life. This page shows us what those early books looked like. You can see the intricate black and red writing covering the page. These are from the Vedas, which means knowledge, and the Upanishads, which are some of the oldest religious texts from India. We also have the great epics, like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Looking at this painting, we can see stories of royal kings happening right alongside the daily village life of regular people. The Mahabharata actually holds the record as the longest epic in the world. Another major set of writings are the Tripitakas. These are the holy books of Buddhism, and they focus on teaching people kindness, peace, and nonviolence. These religious writings provide specific evidence of the ancient world. By reading them, historians can see exactly what people ate, how they dressed, and what festivals they celebrated thousands of years ago. In the second section of our library, we find books about kings and rulers. Kings wanted to make sure that future generations would remember the battles they won and the empires they built. Sometimes a ruler wanted to tell their story in their own words. When a person writes the story of their own life, it is called an autobiography. This portrait shows Babur, founder of the Mughal Empire. He wrote his own story, the Babanama, detailing his travels and battles, creating an autobiography. Other kings had historians record their lives for them. When a person's life story is written by someone else, it is called a biography. Look at this painting of a ruler surrounded by his court. Emperor Akbar had a historian named Abul Fazal who watched the emperor work. Abul Fazal recorded the details of Akbar's life in a biography called the Akbarnama. To keep them straight, just remember, auto means yourself, and bio means someone else. Both help us see inside the palaces to understand how these kingdoms were run. Finally, we reach the third section of our library. Long ago, India's wealth, spices, and universities attracted visitors from all over the world. We have records from Huan Sang and Fa Hien from China, Al-Biruni from Central Asia, Ibn Battuta from Morocco, and Bernier from France. All of them made the long journey to see India for themselves. When these visitors arrived, they took careful notes. They walked through bustling markets, traveled the roads, and visited advanced schools, writing down everything they observed. This photograph shows the massive brick ruins of Nalanda University. Travelers like Huan Sang wrote detailed descriptions showing the scale of ancient Indian education. Because these visitors were seeing India for the first time, they noticed customs that locals might have thought were too ordinary to write down. Their books allow historians to compare India's story with records from other countries. If we put all three sections of our library together, the religious texts, the biographies, and the foreign accounts, we can see the past clearly. Without these written records, much of India's history would be invisible to us today. Let's see what you remember. Question 1. Can you name 2 things ancient people wrote on before paper was invented? If you said palm leaves, tree bark, copper plates, or stone slabs, you are correct. Question 2. What is the longest epic in the world? That is the Mahabharata. Question 3. Who wrote the Akbarnama, and is it a biography or an autobiography? It was written by Abul Fazal, and because he wrote about someone else, it is a biography. Final question. Name at least one foreign traveler who visited ancient India and left a written record. You could have named Huensong, Fa-Hien, Al-Biruni, Ibn Battuta, or Bernier. Great job! You now understand how written records work and how these literary sources help us see into the life of ancient India.